everyone. Welcome to the Booze and Boobs podcast. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Katrina. Thanks for joining us today as we talk about some of our favorite horror movies.
We created this podcast as a way to give women more of a voice in horror. Men dominate most industries, especially film and television.
And that also goes for podcasts. We'll focus on female characters, motivations, or just expectations placed on women in horror, even if the situation is happening to a man.
We're excited you're here and we hope you love it.
Now let's get to today's movie.
Well, here we are, back for another episode of Booze and Boobs, the final episode of 2023. And even though we took a little breaky, I'm still very proud of us for getting back into it.
Technically, we did 2 in October, so that kind of cancels out 0 in November. So I think we're still kind of on track.
What about January, February, March, April?
It's almost 2024. Those months don't count anymore.
I was gonna say technically May because I didn't finish the edit for Midsummer until like June something, but my heart was in the right place.
Mm-hmm. Tomato. Let's see.
Tomato, potato.
Exactly.
At least it's not chicken.
I don't think they're gonna get what that means.
They will if they listen to the whole episode.
Oh, I guess it's fair. Our 2024 New Year's goals are at minimum 12 episodes for 2024.
Okay, well, baseline. Here's the thing. I never agreed to that.
Well, you don't have to. I own 51% of this company.
I mean, actually, I think thanks to our Patreon and thank you to our patrons, I think we're even now.
Yeah, technically, the people who agreed to our Patreon were your friends. So nobody I know has subscribed.
But nobody I know has commented, at least.
True.
So, balance. So, anyway, sure. We will resolve to publish 12 episodes. Who knows when? We don't know what. It took us forever. It honestly took us so long to pick what movie we were going to do for November that now it's Christmas. So,
exactly.
So what we're going to do for this episode, we're covering the movie that we were planning on and actually did record most of for last year. So it's not sloppy seconds. I think that we have improved our process. But we couldn't think of anything new, so we just went back to last year.
Back to black. Black Christmas.
Oh, that was a good one.
Thank you.
It's all the word games we play before and afters. Back to Black Christmas. I love that.
Also, I've been watching The Masked Singer, and one of them sang that song. So
is Tom Sandoval the diver?
I don't know. I was watching season 3.
Oh,
I don't know. Starting from the beginning.
Oh, is this your new special interest? You picked The Masked Singer.
Well, this is my easy to watch. I don't have to focus on. It's kind of background, kind of like one of those. So, and it's something that Yuri will watch with me because there's a lot of things that she won't watch with me.
She watched Vanderpump with me.
Whatever.
Yeah, so kind of a lot has happened for both Katrina and I since our Halloween episode. Thank God all of that is over. So I don't know. I know that a lot of people I do like Christmas and I like the holidays as a concept, but listen, I've made it 300 something days. Can we just get the show on the road? I'm over it.
It's exhausting. I feel like if we just could do this, split it up throughout the year a little bit, because it's literally Halloween, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Christmas, and then it's all New Year's. And then it's like literally nothing until
4th of July.
middle of February. Well, Valentine's Day, but that's really not like family.
Katrina just called me single.
I'm sure there's a Labor Day or something in there that you missed, or Memorial Day. I don't know which one's first.
You don't know which comes first, Memorial Day or Labor Day?
No. I just know one's in the spring, one's closer to the fall. I have no idea which one is which.
Okay. Well, Memorial Day's in May.
That was my guess.
And Labor Day's in September.
There you go.
So, wow.
Spring and August.
September.
Oh, I meant fall. Shut up. We're cutting this out.
I'm editing it. We're not.
We rock, paper, scissors to see who is going to.
Don't say we scissored.
Oh, no. Sorry. Wait, no, not the scissors.
Anyway, so our movie that we're doing is Black Christmas. Oh, gosh. Okay, side note, because we have to do our like 15-minute rampant before we actually start talking about anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was a thought that I had that just in everything that was going on, where I was like, I'm gonna have to talk on this fucking podcast again that I moved again.
I knew you were gonna say that. You did it.
I didn't. So for Rachel, yeah, still alarms, but so many alarms. But I thought I was gonna have to move, and I was not doing well thinking about that. That I am not moving. Now I don't know how I feel about that either. So we're just in a lot of emotions. So what we're going to do is talk about murder and conspiracy and gore and friendship
and child abuse and cannibalism and all of the above.
How could I have missed the cannibalism?
Really though, I was waiting for it. It tastes like chicken. Come on, that was our whole thing.
Oh no. Before we started recording, I broke a glass because I was cooking something in the microwave that didn't have a plate. So, like, I'm just a mess all around.
Yep.
Katrina can't pop popcorn.
I literally, and you know what? I take pride in my popcorn because I always tell Yuri 2 minutes and 10 seconds is perfect on our microwave. And I fucked it up. And now I don't know how to identify myself. Not the perfect popcorn maker anymore.
You can identify yourself as co-host of the Booze and Booze podcast. Let's get to it.
Okay. The Black Christmas can be summarized very quickly. An abused child kills his family, gets put into a sanitarium. He escapes and starts murdering the sorority girls that are now living in his old house, and his sister is also there murdering people who also escaped her sanitarium because she ended up crazy as well. The end.
But not at the end.
What do you mean?
I think you're missing the part where his sister is also his daughter.
I was summarizing. Okay.
That's a very important plot point. So,
abused child kills his family, gets put away, escapes to kill sorority girls that are staying in his childhood home, where his daughter sister is also escaped and killing sorority girls. And
they both have the craziest jaundice I've ever seen.
She's semi-normal. She's normal, but he looks like the Yellow Hulk.
So like I mentioned, Katrina and we watched this movie to do it last year, and I've seen it before, of course. And we watched it so many times last year that when we decided that we were going to watch it or like record it for this year, I was just like, I've seen this movie so many times. I have to watch it again. But when I was watching it this time, aka not really paying attention because I know everything about this movie at this point, was the daughter, sister, as you said, the second killer, reminds me so much of White Chicks, but yellow. Because it
Right.
was, I don't know, it was just like the face, like when she's on top of the other girl in the bed, killing her. I just saw like the way it was done. I was just like, oh my God, this is White Chicks.
Yeah, the only reason you know that it's Agnes is because of the hair.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah, so Billy is, I mean, spoilers. Wah, wah, wah. Uh, whatever. Billy is the killer. The
Agnes is
child who
also
grew
the
up.
killer.
Agnes is the killer who grew up. Um, the way that the way that the story is told in the movie, there's a lot of flashbacks and back and forth between the sorority house at present, the sanitarium at present, and then Billy and his family in that same house in several years past in like sequential order. Like when he's like a little kid, when he's a teenager, and then an older teenager.
Yeah, I think so.
I think one of them was 1992, right?
Uh,
Look at me saying I know everything about this movie, and I'm like, I think it was this.
1982 is when he was 12. And then 1991 Christmas is where his family.
80.
So close.
Hold on. 82
80.
is
He was
80.
12 in 82. So 91, he would have been 21.
I
Is
mean, I
that
guess so.
mathing?
Okay. Let's,
A young adult.
I guess. So what happened was with Billy, what we see in the flashbacks is it's Christmas. Billy is at home in his room. His mother has a boyfriend, and the boyfriend is coming to the house to I don't know if this was the plan, but what happened was the mother's boyfriend killed Billy's father, and he saw it. And it was pretty gruesome. And then Billy's mother and his soon to be stepfather find him seeing it. They chase him. He runs into the attic, and the mob locks him inside the attic. And presumably, that's where he stays, quote unquote, forever.
Right.
And then in the next, go ahead.
I was just saying, and the part about seeing his father die, other than that alone is traumatic, is like his father was the only person who actually loved him and would like give him a present. And his mom just treated him like shit because Billy reminded her of his father. And she hated him, obviously, because she had her boyfriend kill him. So add to that, now he's locked in an attic and he's being treated like shit for his whole life.
And are we presuming the jaundice happens because he's not let out? He doesn't get sunlight?
No, he was yellow when he was little.
I can't remember.
They said it was a liver disease in the hold on. I think they talk about it in the beginning.
They might. I really don't care. He's yellow.
He has like a severe liver disorder.
Okay.
And that makes him yellow. It's a genetic thing, I'm assuming.
So then we've cut to Billy being a little bit older. Billy's stepfather passes out on the stairs while Billy's mom is trying to have sex with him. And Billy is watching it through like a little hole in the floor. And then Billy's stepfather passes out mid coitus, and Billy's mom is not done. So she decides she will finish. So we do not see exactly what happens, but we know that Billy's mother goes up to the attic where Billy is in a rocking chair and undresses. And then it says 9 months later, and there is a baby in a little bassinet at home. And Billy's mother looks up toward the attic where Billy's like, he must be moving around because like the chandelier moves a little bit. And then Billy's mother just goes, "She's my family now." And it's gross.
Yeah, she just has such hate for Billy that she should have just like put him up for adoption and he would have been better off. Like, even if he ended up in the foster care system his whole life, he would have been better off than with his mother.
Yeah, it is really gross. And then the next little clip that we'll get of Billy is Katrina, you said he must be like 21 or something.
Yeah, so it gives us the like, oh, 1991 Christmas. Billy actually gets a gift and they gave him a telescope and he's like spying on other families, which I get that he has nothing better to do, but it's also showing him like, oh, kind of what he's missing out on. But he sees them downstairs and Agnes is opening up a baby doll that she got from her mother. Her mother loves her very much. And the mom just, Agnes hears like rustling upstairs and steps. And the mother's just like, oh, that's just reindeer. So we get the clue that Agnes has no idea that Billy exists. And then this just made me go, ugh. The mom asks Agnes, "Do you want a Christmas cookie?" And then she says, "You're my cookie. I could just gobble you up." And all of these are things that kind of come in later, but it's just the mother is just, she grosses me out.
Yeah, I absolutely believe context is everything because I could take a look at my dog and be like, "You're so cute, I'm gonna eat you." I'm not.
Yeah.
But Billy's mom, gross.
Yeah, no. Like, get your smoker mouth and hands away from my face, please.
Oh, true. Like, she is trash. Now, this is an aside, but relevant. The house is what becomes the sorority house. So it's huge and beautiful and must have at least 6 bedrooms because we have 6 kind of main characters. Then, a big kitchen, living room, seating area. So like this is a huge house, but these are like such trashy people. So I must assume that Billy's dad had done something that got them a lot of money in like the 70s, 80s, right?
Yeah. I mean, affording a single person income in the 70s or 80s, you could probably afford something decent. Inflation. But yeah, my assumption is that the dad bought the house and that the mother and boyfriend just lived there. I mean, maybe the stepdad worked, but who knows?
I mean, I'm sure that he did. I'm sure that the stepdad did work. And I mean, we don't know that the mom didn't ever work or do anything, but everything we see is just on Christmas basically. So whatever. Yeah.
Well, and then
I'm just saying I'm a sad millennial who will never own a house. The end.
And I am a sad millennial who's house poor. So has a house, but can't afford it. So on the 1991 Christmas, after the mom goes to get a cookie for Agnes and the phone starts ringing, when she answers it, she goes, "Merry Christmas," with a cigarette in her mouth, of course. And she just gets mad because nobody's saying anything. And then she finally hears, "She's my family now." And then she screams Billy, and runs into the living room. Well, guess what? Uh, why are you laughing?
I'm not.
I did. That's the only proper way to say Billy. Jessica.
It wouldn't be as funny if it wasn't you, because you say that all the time.
It's just such a good line.
I know. That movie is really great. Anyway,
It's a good line.
sorry, interrupted. Go for it.
All good. Um, so the parents run to the attic, being like, "Where's Agnes?" Well, she's in the living room, and he's stabbing her with like a bag over her head, which is how they kind of killed his dad. They put a bag over his head and hit him with a hammer. And then we see him take out her eyeball and eat it. Not normal. I don't think that helps with jaundice. Um, so the father tries to attack him. He stabs the father through the eye. There's a whole lot of eye gore in this movie.
Yeah.
And then he strangles the mother with Christmas lights. Very festive. Drags her to the kitchen. And this is a scene I was like, oh, okay. He like is hitting her with a rolling pin, and like the whole counter is like bouncing, and like he's strong. He real strong. But anyway, he bakes Christmas cookies using her back skin. And when the police show up, Agnes is crying, and Billy is just dipping his quote unquote cookies in milk, just chowing down. So, yeah, we have some cannibalism, some abuse, and some incest.
Feel good holiday classic.
What else could you ask for, honestly?
Yeah, so what we'll get into the plot of the movie, which is very straightforward. We didn't mention this officially. Black Christmas is a remake of the 1974 Black Christmas, which was the first movie that actually used The Call is Coming Inside the House, which was made more famous by my favorite, When a Stranger Calls, which I like that movie a lot, if you guys didn't know. So I was just bringing it up. But we're discussing the Black Christmas from 2006. It stars Katie Cassidy, Michelle Trachtenberg, Lacey Chabert, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and also the aunt from My Big Fat Greek Wedding who goes, "It's okay, I make lamb." So just to put that in there. But all to say though, everything that we're going to get through is murders done by Billy and Agnes, who really never had a chance. I don't sympathize with them so much, but you know, if we're getting this backstory, it is really awful.
Yeah. And it's, you know, the system failing people, because after the 1991 murders, like Billy's put into a sanitarium because he's crazy. Agnes, I think, was like put up for adoption, but it didn't work out because she ended up being crazy as well. And they just so happen to escape on the same Christmas, which I'm like, how did they? Are they allowed to write letters? I don't know how that works. Did Billy ever learn how to read? I don't know.
I'm sure he learned how to read. He was school age when his father died.
I think he was 5.
School age? I was reading when I was like 2, 3.
Not everybody reads at 2.
Well, I know that, but
it's tough. It's tough. So Billy's in a sanitarium. Agnes is in a sanitarium. The house, I'm assuming, goes up for sale. Somebody buys it, turns it into a sorority house. The movie opens up actually at the sorority house in like present day 2006, whenever this was made, I'm assuming. And it kind of just is showing what the house is now. I got distracted. I just did something funny. So we open up with the sorority house being decorated for Christmas. So obviously we know it's Christmas. And we see a girl, her name's Claire. She's sitting in her room drinking some wine, writing a card to her sister Lee.
I have to point out, especially the last time I was watching this, it's the fact that Claire brought a bottle of wine to her room with the corkscrew, and she's just opening that sucker like right in her room. And I have no shame in this whatsoever, but I'm just like, yeah, that girl didn't want to share. She's like, this is my red wine. Pouring it out on the floor while she's doing her little wrapping. I love Claire.
Only child. I'm sure she must have been she grew up as an only child though.
Babe, so. I'm like, babe, the whole point of this is that she's not an only child.
Listen, she basically grew up as an only child, okay?
Well, so did I.
And now you relate to it, so ta-da!
Well, no, because I'm jealous that she died.
Well, yeah, and she was the first one.
I know, she didn't have to deal with any of it.
Honestly, it's either I live or I'm the first one. I don't want to deal with the stress if I'm just gonna die. Let me be first or let me live.
That's just like every day. Let me deal with this. I don't want to deal with the stress. Just let me die. But yes, and I wanted to make a note. So you put in your notes that we see somebody under Claire's bed who has long blonde hair, and I rewound it a couple times just when I saw that this last time, and I never particularly noticed it. And then I looked again, like right when she was getting the bag over her head when she gets murdered. Where did you see the long hair?
I would have to look at it again. I don't know. I thought it was like you could kind of see it over the eye of whoever was under the bed. I
guess I just didn't notice, or I must have been looking in the wrong spot.
But well, I didn't notice it until the last time that I watched it. Because the first time that I watched it, I thought they were in the closet. But it was just like the vent moved some stuff in the closet. And then it was a red herring because she was under the bed. Agnes was under the bed.
Yeah. I mean, I do have to agree with you that it must have been Agnes, because the way that the movie does it, like I know I said that there's like the flashbacks, but there's also the like present of Billy being in the sanitarium at Christmas, because everyone, like the orderly, the guard, and then the hospital Santa, like give us a little bit of his backstory before we actually see it.
Right.
That way they can like hype up like, oh, this is a scary guy. Billy, this is a bad guy. Yeah. He's crazy. And then he escapes.
Then he does bad things.
Who's shocked? Not me.
No. And if they made a movie, I'm not surprised. So Claire is in her room trying to write a letter to her sister, Lee, and Agnes puts a bag over her head and stabs her in the eye with the pen she was using. And it was quick, easy, breezy, done.
Yep.
That was the opening.
Good little introduction death.
Yeah.
And at this point, then we go to where Billy is introduced inside the sanitarium. The orderly is passing out cookies and milk. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Blah, blah, blah.
Can't forget the candy canes.
Oh, yep. There were candy canes for sure. Those are weapons.
Yeah.
And a Santa who's supposed to be finding the children's wing wanders into the maximum security wing. Now, we did see, like, when the orderly was coming in, like, a carton of milk fell off and it, like, caught on the door, so the door didn't close all the way. But I just don't see at any point in this, like, gray, drab setting that the Santa would have made it at least this far thinking, this is where the children are.
Well, and it's not very maximum security of the employees of them to be A, making sure the door behind them doesn't shut, and B, in a minute we're gonna see how they just go into a room by themselves, leaving a door open. Well, they just don't close doors.
Well, yeah, and because we talked about this the last time we were recording it, that the orderly is going down, passing out his stuff. Then the Santa comes in and we see boots and hear the footsteps. So, we get all spooked out. And then it's just like the Santa being like, oh, I thought I was going the children's wing. And then we go to where there's a guard at the end of the hall who has been facing this direction the whole time. And I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that the
Never said
guard
anything.
would have been aware if a Santa was coming that direction, like for a reason. So he could have been like, hey, buddy, you're in the wrong area. But no,
Yeah.
we only have the orderly and the Santa talking. And then the Santa brings up something about, like, isn't Billy Lenz here? And then the guard pops in to give like a little flash of lore about him. And I'm like, what? What?
They just had to have, that's what the script said, they had to have somebody to talk to about Billy.
Well, there we go. And then, Katrina, would you like to talk about what is given to Billy and what is said for Billy?
Yeah, so Billy gets a special treat. So he gets candy canes and chicken. And the orderly looks at the Santa trying to be like very like spooky, be like, it tastes like chicken because it's chicken. And then he goes, it's closest to how mom used to taste.
So
And
gross.
the Santa wasn't even like faced, because I'm sure at this point everybody knows that story about Billy. Like, I don't know. It's just silly. Silly Billy. But that's kind of all we get for the sanitarium at that point, because we cut back to the sorority house and we see Kelly and Kyle, who are sitting in his car outside the house. And Kelly gets a phone call.
Kelly is Katie Cassidy, Scream Queen, who was in what movie in 2006? When a Stranger Calls.
It's a busy year for her.
Tequila Tiffany.
Oh, yeah.
See, well, but this is the thing that we talked about, how Katie Cassidy is David Cassidy's daughter. And her first role in like a movie was playing Tiffany in When a Stranger Calls. And we were like, she's a Cassidy. Shouldn't she like have nepoed her way into something bigger? Just wait. You go from February to October when Black Christmas comes out. Boom, leading lady.
Our final girl.
So we can just say she earned it. She earned her main spot. Yeah. Especially when you've got Michelle Trachtenberg, Lacey Chabert, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. People have been working forever, but Katie Cassidy got it. Well, now I love Katie Cassidy, and I grew up watching her and stuff, so it's totally fine with me. But I'm just pointing out. And then her boyfriend Kyle is played by Kate Hudson's brother Oliver. So we've got nepo leads all over the place.
And Kyle does a great job being gross. We hate Kyle.
We do, but like, we do.
Rachel, stop hating the people, or stop loving the people you're supposed to hate. Okay?
I can't help it.
It's the mental illness, isn't it?
I guess so. So anyway, we're in the car. There's Kyle and Kelly, and they're smooching. Yes. Kyle wants Kelly to stay in the car because he's not done smooching. But Kelly needs to go inside because she needs to be with her sisters. They're her family. And then Kyle, what are you doing?
I'm narrating with my face and emotion. I'm emoting as your story.
You're distracting.
Sorry.
Kyle tells Kelly that he could be her family. And true. And Kelly thinks that is just so cute. I literally watched her face go from like to like, and I'm like, girl. And then they had a smoochy smooch. And then she does go inside. The whole conversation is that she's staying because she has to work over Christmas. She doesn't have as much money as everyone else. None of that really matters because everyone's about to die and they're all going to the same school. But that's just giving us some reason of why she isn't gone away for Christmas break.
Yeah. And as soon as she leaves the car, this asshole picks up the phone, starts calling somebody, and that somebody is inside the house. Little
That's
hoe
true.
bag.
There is the moment so where we see Kyle, like he leans over across from the driver's seat to like the other side, and he's like looking in the house, like looking like up a little bit. You would think that he's watching Kelly. He's
No,
not.
no, no.
He's
He's
not.
calling another girl. And the girl looks angry and throws her phone. And we will see why she's angry in a minute. But we cut to the house mother who is looking for Billy's present under the tree. They have this little tradition of every year they do Secret Santa, and every year somebody has to buy Billy a present. It's a little macabre, if you ask me, to
Well,
buy the dude that killed his family in that house not that long ago.
well, here's the thing. Do I think that it's like weird? Yes. But if it's like if he was dead and they were doing it like the spirit of Billy or like to ward off bad juju or whatever, that's more realistic. But the fact of
Mm-hmm.
the matter is that Billy is alive and he's somewhere relatively close because
Right.
he
In a
breaks
walking distance.
walking distance or whether he even like stole a car and got there. Like he has to be
Right.
somewhat close. So my question is because Mrs. Mack, the house mother, later on she says that she's been there for like 7 or 8 years or something like that. Like she's been there for a
Mm-hmm.
while. What have they been doing with this present that somebody, this college girl spends her money on
Right?
every year? Like, I think if this gift to Billy was like a gift for the house,
Yeah.
we need light bulbs, we need,
Soap. We need
so,
paper
yeah,
towel, anything.
yeah,
Like a cute
something.
decoration.
Yes.
I can see
I
that, yeah.
I can see that as being something because, you're giving it in good spirits to ward off evil spirits. It's something that helps the house and it's something that just does whatever. So
It's a silly little game at that point. It's
yeah.
not.
So that's just my question. Why
Yeah.
were they doing that? But
I'm in agreement with you on that.
but while Mrs. Mack is searching under the tree for Billy's present, we're introduced to the other girls. And I feel really bad. I don't remember almost any of their names.
I know there's a Dana, there's a Lauren, there's a Heather, obviously Kelly. Lee comes in
Is
later, and there's
is
a Megan. Megan is the one that was talking on the phone with Kyle.
oh yeah. Okay, so Megan's with Kyle. Dana is Lacey Chabert. Gretchen from Mean Girls. Is Melissa Michelle Trachtenberg?
I just know I don't know actors. I just know the character names.
I think Heather is Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Let's
I'm
go with that.
looking I'm looking at this and I see oh, okay. Well then we go into it where we say Lauren and Kelly are together. So Lauren's the other girl. The other girl that we didn't
Mm-hmm.
write the name down because she wasn't one of the it girls in the 2000s. Sorry.
There's also another girl, like the red herring weird girl. Like they put a pretty girl in glasses so that in 2006 that makes her the weird girl.
Yeah, and she had like a low ponytail, like a George
Mm-hmm.
Washington ponytail.
Yeah, Eve, and there's Eve.
Yeah.
That's her name.
So yeah. It's like whose line is it anyway? Everything's made up and the points don't matter because this is a slasher film and everyone's gonna die.
Yep, they're all dead anyway.
So we are meeting everyone. We've got the girl who's obsessed with her phone. We've got the alcoholic. We've got the goody goody. And then we've got the, you guys, I just want everyone to have a good time.
Yes.
Tag
All the
yourself.
bases are covered.
Which one are you?
Rachel's the alcoholic.
Okay, well, I wasn't going to say that first,
We
but
you can pin me then. I pinned you, you can pin me.
okay. To make fun of you, I would put you as Michelle Trachtenberg, who I think is Michelle, because she just like had an attitude, but I liked it. That's not making fun
Okay.
of you.
No, I thought you were gonna say I was Eve, and I was ready to be mad at you. Because I feel like sometimes I am the weird kid. But I would put myself as the girl who's like, technically all these traditions are a pagan holiday, blah 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 blah. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
I can see that.
So, I mean, really, that's the thing. They're all like fine. I do think they're
Yeah.
all actually likable because these actors are really good. And it's just people are people and they're just playing like their character just to get us through the plot. I really don't have any problems. Katrina calling me the alcoholic, but here's the thing, this girl pukes a lot and I hold that shit. I drank a whole bottle of wine at a party the other night and then I started in with my vodka and it was totally fine. I didn't even have a
I guess
hangover.
that's fair.
I can handle it. I'm also not like 20 how these girls are. So,
That's fair.
but
And also not
well,
20 pounds.
thanks.
20 and 20 pounds. Well, no, because I'm like, all these girls are very, very like petite.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there was this time where Katrina helped me get inside my house when I was drunk and I threw up in the bathroom and then I crawled naked into my bed. So
listen, it didn't even start there. It started in the parking lot. Because we had to walk upstairs to get to her apartment. And she broke, like, her foot came out of her sandal on the stairs. So she fell up the stairs. And then she fell trying to take her shoe off in the apartment. And then she goes to the bathroom to vomit. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I just see a naked body crawling on all fours into her bedroom. And I can't, I wish I could make it up. It's so
video?
No, I didn't take a video. But I went into the bedroom and I see she has a very tall bed. So she's on the floor trying to crawl up her bed because she just wants to lay down. Very memorable moment for me. And then I walked Cinnamon, her dog, and I slept it off on the couch to make sure she didn't die. Oh god.
So
because I was not sleeping in that bed with her naked. That's just weird.
So tag yourself. I'm Lauren.
It's a good time though.
But here's the thing. We have a story. And we're still friends. So
and no one was
nothing's breaking this. No. Break the bond. It can't happen.
Don't go there. That's all. Don't go there. You can't do that to me.
If you read ACOTAR, you'll get that because whatever there. So in a way, you could say that Katrina. Anyways, Katrina and I are sisters with the closest bond that you could ever have. But I would also push her down the stairs if Billy Lenz was chasing us.
I think I would have a better chance against Billy Lenz, so I would allow it.
You wouldn't have a choice.
I would forgive you. If I lived, I would forgive you.
I would say the last thing that you think of before he like rips out your eyeball is, it's okay, Rachel.
In my head, I would be like, she better be so fucking far away right now. I swear to God, if she gets caught and I get my eyeball eaten, I'm gonna kill her myself.
You're like, it's one of us. So that was a fun aside. Probably our most entertaining yet.
Oh, I would agree.
So
more stories to come. But not right
now. Yeah, in the 12 episodes we do in 2024.
Oof.
So
anyway, we're meeting all the girls. They're all sitting around trying to gather to get everybody together to do their Secret Santa. And we flash over to Billy, who gives the guard a newspaper wrapped present through the little slot that he got his treats. And the guard peeks in there and Billy's just eating his candy cane in his rocking chair. And the note that was given says, "I'll be home for Christmas." I have a really hard time not like holding back singing that song right now.
I know. I just saw it in my notes that I put in guard opens present that says, "I'll be home for Christmas."
Christmas.
The way that Camila Cabello says it, like,
yes, quiz. Yeah,
I don't like how did
Mary.
she even say that? Christmas,
I don't
Christmas.
know, but it also makes me think of like Mary Chrysler. Mary Chrysler. I don't know what the
Happy Christmas.
Yeah, Mary Chrysler. Yeah.
I don't remember her name either. I would if you hadn't asked me, but it's fine.
It's okay. Anyway, Billy says, "I'll be home for Christmas." And so the guard's like, "No, the heck you aren't," and opens the cell door to check on Billy because he's an idiot.
Well, he looks through the little
alone.
He looks through the little peephole first, didn't see Billy.
Who cares?
And he closes it and then opens the door. It's like, well, did you see him come out?
Right. So, who cares?
Just because you can't see through this tiny little window, all the other spaces in this room.
Call for backup. You have a radio. Be like, "Hey, I need to go check on this prisoner. Like, somebody come help me." Anyway, he doesn't do that. He just opens the door. B, leaves it open. C, he sees that there's like a hole in the concrete wall with pipes that no grown man would fit through.
Yeah, it's not like Shawshank where it's just like open. Like he just took off like the surface layer.
Yeah. And so he's like peeking at the hole in the wall, and Billy stabs him with the candy cane, which is honestly the most realistic part of this movie. Because have you ever sharpened a candy cane to like a really, really fine point?
Yes.
It's just like a hypodermic needle.
Yeah, like I absolutely have. I'm crazy.
So he stabs the guard, and he leaves, headed home for Christmas, like he said. Billy doesn't lie. So all that happens. Well, after he gets out, Billy also kills Santa and steals his suit, puts it on, and then just throws him away in the dumpster. Like, that Santa was at least 215 pounds.
He was a big guy. But
and Billy just...
He had the Christmas spirit.
That he did. He said, "Merry Christmas" to the dumpster. Anyway, so we go back to the sorority house, trying to get everybody downstairs for presents. Kelly, our main girl, knocks on Lauren's door to tell her very nicely, "Hey, we're opening presents." And Lauren, she comes out and she goes, "I realize you're an only child, and with siblings, the weak get eaten." And this is really where the sisterhood kind of like kicks in. And she's like, "This is how you're supposed to do it."
It's also funny because Billy eats people and ate his sister daughter's eyeball. So I'm just saying, it's funny.
And it also
not funny, haha. Funny.
Yeah.
Or what does Marissa say? "Oh boy. You're not oh boy crazy, you're haha crazy." And I asked her which one I am, and she went, "Well,
depends on the day." So Lauren shows her how it's done, like knocks hella hard on this door. And it's like, "We're opening presents right now in 5 minutes. If you're not getting them, they're mine." Very sibling-esque.
But I loved it. It was cute.
Yeah. And then Kelly, as a good sport, tries it on Megan's door. And Megan's like, "Fuck Christmas," because she's very mad, very valid. Because when it cuts to Megan, she's watching what looks like to be a homemade porno video, and it looks like her and Kyle. So somebody recorded it and uploaded it somewhere. It probably shouldn't have been.
Yeah. And I feel because this was 2006, the internet had been around for a few years, but I mean, at least definitely for me, I was 13 in 2006. Like that's when that's when I got my Facebook. I think I did have MySpace before that, but that's when it was like, you felt really connected to everywhere else. So when you look at it through that lens, and then you're in college and, you're fucking somebody, your sister's boyfriend.
Right.
but also
Well,
not be in the holiday mood.
well, and I'm sure like revenge porn wasn't a huge thing that people knew about then either, because it wasn't something that was easily accessible and like not everybody was like it just wasn't a big thing then because people didn't know. So anyway, bad stuff. Not cool, guys. Not cool. Um, we hear sounds from the attic, and then it like the camera pans up there, and we see Claire, who was the first girl who died, in the rocking chair upstairs, probably the rocking chair that Billy used to sit in, with a bag still on her head. So she's dead for sure.
Yeah, because Kelly and Lauren have already gone downstairs while Megan's all upset. But then Megan, well, who is very upset, she wouldn't go downstairs for presents, but she hears the Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies, which is my dad's favorite Christmas song. And by that, I mean he fucking hates it. It's like playing on like a snow globe or something, and that's what she hears. But she's too sad for presents, but she will go investigate.
Honestly, I get it because like if I am in a bad mood and there's a noise that is just getting at me, like I'll do it. I'll be like, I gotta stop this. So I understand. Um, so when Megan goes into the attic, she sees the snow globe and she's like, "Who's fucking with me?" And she sees Claire and asks her like, "What are you doing?" And then she sees what looks like we see what looks like a woman ripping out her eye and putting a bag over her head.
Yeah.
So that was Agnes killing Megan. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, we can definitely agree on that. So,
And during all this, Billy is on his way home. So he's making his way downtown, walking fast. Face is
faces passing, he's homebound. White
yeah.
chicks again. Here we go.
Oh my gosh. Literally. Parallel universes.
Seriously. Um, it's yeah, so Billy's on his way home. They're the girls are going over the gifts. Mrs. Mack is like, who was supposed to give Billy a gift? And then Heather, who is not Michelle, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she's like, I didn't buy him a present. It's stupid and weird. And I'm like, girl, you're making a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I'm following the logic there.
Yeah, what did she say? I don't get the appeal of buying a gift for a serial killer. And in the real world, she totally makes sense. And then there's me, and I'm like, is it cute?
Is he yellow? Yeah, no.
Is he Big Bird?
So in this whole thing, just basically like this part right here is what leads into like one of the flashbacks of Billy's Christmas. Um, because now they're talking about how Melissa pipes in and she goes, "No, serial killers murder repeatedly for sexual thrill," which is not true. It's just someone, it doesn't have to be for sexual thrill. They just have to kill multiple people.
In a
Like
series.
in a series at different times and days. And then she goes, Billy Lenz was a spree killer. Which I mean, technically he killed two people, his mom and his dad. He attempted to kill Agnes, but did not succeed.
His mom and his stepdad.
Right. His mom and stepdad, sorry. That's not his father. You're not my dad.
You're not my real dad.
Heather is very offended of the quote unquote pagan sacrifice to ward off evil spirits on Christmas. And then Melissa is like, let me give you another definition. Like, she's like the Webster dictionary over here. But she is dropping knowledge about how, like, oh, everything about Christmas is basically started out as pagan, like the tree, the mistletoe, all this stuff. And they don't really talk about it much more. But now they've learned Billy didn't break in and kill. He lived there. Dun dun dun. And then the movie goes into show Billy's first Christmas, all that stuff. Which we have covered.
We have covered, yeah. We don't need to talk about that again.
No need to reiterate.
But this is where we are introduced to Eve, and I'll make a note. So the flashback we've just seen is where the baby is born. So we go from seeing this little baby girl to seeing Eve, and the movie wants you to think that Eve could be Agnes.
Mhm.
So, like Katrina said, she's got the glasses on, and we talked about her having the ponytail, so she's like the oddball. She's walking down the stairs. The house mom goes to get her gift, and Eve is supposed to join everybody, but when Mrs. Mac turns back around, Eve is gone.
Yeah, and Eve gave Heather her Secret Santa, which was like a glass unicorn. She's like, because I know you like the Bible and stuff. What? What does a unicorn have to do? Anyway, it's just funny. But it was
Unicorns are in
wrapped
the Bible.
Are they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that makes sense now. Anyway, it was wrapped in newspaper, old newspaper, which is a red herring. But later we find out that the newspaper was just in Eve's bedroom because Eve had Billy's old bedroom. So, but just before that, they got a phone call, and it's just like weird breathing and stuff like that. And Kelly's like, someone's in trouble. And then she hears someone say, someone say, you're my cookie, and I'm going to gobble you up. She's my family now. Basically, all the things that the gross mother used to say to Agnes. And then just ends the phone call with, get out of my house, I'm going to kill you. Fair enough. I'm out. Like, I would like to leave now, please. But like every good Christmas movie, they're snowed in, which we will find out later when they actually do try to leave. But when they check caller ID, they said it's from Claire's cell phone. So they think maybe Claire's playing a prank on them. Which on the first phone call, I'll give it to you. If it's one phone call, it's weird. Maybe it's a prank. Second one, maybe not. Oh, and after Eve leaves, she didn't get very far. She did. Which, that's the only death. I don't know if Billy did it or Agnes did it, because it was outside the house. So I don't know if Billy had made it home yet. So we start opening gifts, and Melissa tells Lauren that Claire gifted her a music box that plays Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies. And then we see outside someone climbing the house. So we're like, oh, that's supposed to be Billy, right?
Right.
Right. Just kidding. There's a lot of things happening all at once right now. But Heather is upstairs packing her stuff, and they get another phone call to the house, and Melissa answers it this time. And the caller ID says that it's now that it says that Megan is calling. So now we have a different phone call, different ID. And now they're saying she's my family now. And she quotes, bury the hatchet in your head, which is what Dana said earlier in the movie. So somebody's been listening.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
Yeah, so Melissa freaks out, tries to call campus security, but they're off for Christmas, and everything is gone to shit because it's snowing and it's Christmas weekend, whatever.
Yeah. And then Kelly hears something upstairs, some kind of thumping, and everybody goes to investigate, which is pretty smart because everyone's going. They all just had this creepy call. They hear something. They're all on the move. And then who comes out of Megan's room? Kyle.
Blit.
It's so gross. And Kelly's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I was trying to sneak in your room. And she's like, that's not my room. And he's like, I got the wrong one. But what had happened was Kyle was trying to talk to Megan about La Película de Porno.
Say sexo.
I don't know how to say it.
No, I don't know porn, but I know sex is sexo.
Sexo? Is it El Sexo?
if you want to say the sex.
Well, La Película de
The
Sexo.
movie. Yeah.
The movie of sex.
The movie of sex. Who knows? The sex movie. So yeah, he's trying to cover his tracks and just gaslighting everybody. Stupids.
Well, and then they started talking about how they've gotten these phone calls and they don't know what's going on. And Melissa says that the call was for Billy. And then Kyle gives us more background on Billy, where he's actually killed his family. But Kyle's all mad because I guess he's a fucking townie, which gross, because he's like, you spoiled bitches come here for a few years, but I live here. And it's like, ew, so you never like did anything? We don't know exactly how old he is. Like, I would believe he is in college or grad school or something.
Or maybe he's just doing like, yeah, like he's out of, I don't think he's over 25 because then it would be gross. Like if he was like older than 25 trying to pick up 20 and 21-year-olds.
I mean, normal, but gross.
Yeah.
So, whatever. I mean, he's Oliver Hudson, so he's a little cute. But
yeah, so he explains the killing, the Billy's past, basically. And when it cuts back to the sorority house, he said, when they asked him why did he do it, Kyle says, that's how they showed their love. Eating each other? Gross.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. But they hear another thump, and then Kyle goes into Megan's room again with Kelly, and then somebody has come downstairs, and they start hearing things, and everyone's scared. So the girls, minus Kelly, go downstairs to see someone milling about, and it's Kyle Richards. Isn't it Kyle Richards?
Lee?
Yeah. Hold on. I feel like I had to look this up last time. Lee, Black Christmas.
I thought it was Larry Chabert.
No, Lacey Chabert is Dana.
Lacey Chabert is Dana.
Oh, it's Kristen Cloak. She looks like Kyle Richards, who was the little girl in Halloween.
Oh,
who is now like a housewife. Well, she is a housewife. But so Kristen Cloak is Lee, who's Claire's older sister, who was supposed to receive the gift. And she's like, where's Claire? I'm here to pick her up. And everyone's like, Claire left a long time ago. And she's like, why would she do that? I drove all this way in the snow to come get my sister. Mm-hmm. And then the girls are like, well, how do we know who you really are? And then this is the thing that always got me the most. She was like, I used to go to this sorority. And she's like, I hated it when I was here, but I was here. And she's like, I can't tell you anything about my sister because I don't know her very well. And I'm like, okay, convenient.
Well, like, you should know enough. You know enough that her name, her age, her school. So, like, she knew enough to show up and ask for Claire. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. It's not like she didn't start talking about their parents or, you know, if they had the same mom or if it was the same dad. She's in her 30s, at least, really. Like, they're old enough to know something. But she comes in, and then Dana deflects, and she's like, I love your coat. And I'm like, she came in looking good. Yeah. So I'm down with it. But she's a little bit of a red herring, but that is quickly disproven when she's also a target of the horrors. Yeah. So while all that is happening, Kyle and Kelly are upstairs. It's really hard to say those names together.
Yeah.
They're upstairs. Kelly is looking around for Megan in this large but very empty room. Mm-hmm. And Kyle's trying to block her computer, but then the power goes out. So Megan's laptop that was on like a screensaver, which it was a screensaver of like a flying eyeball, which is also strange. But if you were curious, the movie really wants you to focus on eyeballs. And then the screensaver goes down and it reveals la película de sexo.
Yeah, which I don't know why she would leave that up on her screen. But I get it. It was 2006. Nobody really thought about, exiting out, minimizing things, locking your computer. So I get it. But
Yeah, so
yeah, that was no bueno. So they start fighting, obviously, again. But everybody downstairs is still like suspicious of Lee. And now they have found a Christmas present that is labeled for Billy that was not there before. So now they're being like, did this weird bitch bring a present for Billy? Because what the hell?
well, yeah, and then she's just like, okay, you guys open it. Because she's not scared at all. She just wants her sister, and then she wants to get to whatever her vacation is going to be for the holidays.
Yeah, so they find that it's wrapped in newspaper, which is the same newspaper as Eve's, which is from like the 1970s. And so they decide, oh, we're going to go check out Eve's bedroom. And that's when Heather finds Billy's old hidey hole and finds like the newspaper and the telescope box and all that jazz. There's a lot happening right now because all the power's out. Everybody's like splitting into twos, like it's Scooby-Doo, trying to like do a bunch of different things. Like, because Kyle and Kelly are still fighting. Heather is looking for that, but then Lauren starts vomiting all over the place.
Yeah, so Melissa takes her to the bathroom.
Yeah. And then Lee notices, oh, other houses have power. So Lee and Dana are on a mission to try and find the breaker. So everybody's just kind of like, they did so good in the beginning sticking together, but now that the power's out, they all just divide and conquered and died.
They were conquered.
They were.
So Dana goes outside. She knows that the main breaker is under the house. And then she says, I'm not the totally helpless daddy's girl. And she goes like under the little crawl space under the house to find the breaker. But what she finds is death. She is killed, stabbed through the back of the head, through the eyeball by Agnes. That one's for sure Agnes.
Yeah.
So she's out. So they know she's dead.
No longer with us.
What?
No longer with us.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were saying something in Spanish.
No. Sorry. But during all of this, is it that Melissa helps Lauren get into the bathroom so she can take a shower. And we see when Lauren is going into the shower, some tile on the floor is moving, and then we just see an eyeball.
Again.
Lots of eyes.
Eyeballs.
The eyes have it. Her face. It was like disappointment and like laugh funny all in one.
I'm disappointed in myself. That was a really good one.
Thank you. Anyway, so we get the obligatory butt and side boob shot. And peeping Tom. I'm assuming this is Billy at this point. Well, it could be Agnes. She could be a peeping Samantha. I don't know. I was thinking Tammy. Peeping Tammy. We love Tammy, but we hate Tammy. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Watch #1,000 Sisters and you've read ACOTAR, you know exactly who we're talking about.
Yeah, you know who we love and who we hate.
Yep. Then Lauren takes her shower, and then when she's done, she does not crawl, but she puts on her comfies and then gets in bed and passes out, and I identify.
That's how I would want to spend a horror movie. Drunk and or sleeping. If I was in a horror movie, that's how I want to be.
It's less stressful, like you mentioned.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just either take me out first, in my sleep, whatever, or let me live. Also, I don't know how, like, is the person under the house that is like watching her shower, like, they can't be standing. So are they like I'm trying to picture how their body is positioned, like to be able to look through the floor and be like,
Well,
this.
as we saw at the end, like there's like crawl spaces in the house.
Right, but that's
And that's
not comfortable. You can't stand up.
well, no, but I don't think for these two crazy people that comfort was their main goal, babe.
Maybe. Oh, well, I'm just saying.
Have you ever been uncomfortable to look at a pair of titties? Because I have.
I guess it's fair.
So we're
Yeah, you'll
inclusive
put up with
here.
some. We don't like killers, though. Well, you know what I mean. They get the gist.
Heather is still looking at Eve's closet. She finds little baby doll eyes from Eve's little no eye having baby doll thing. Gross. She finds the newspaper.
Yeah, and Dana leaves Leah. No. Lee leaves Dana out there and is like looking for Claire now throughout the house. She's checking every nook and cranny possible.
It's Lee's fault that Dana died.
Yeah,
Because
she should not have been left. Yeah, you can't leave them alone. I know that we know they're in a horror movie, but at this point, the power's out. It's fishy. Okay.
Well, really, at this point, what we know for sure, if we're talking about horror movie rules, is that Lauren can die because she drinks, and Kyle can die because he has had sex.
And Megan can die because she had sex.
Megan can die. Now, it's highly plausible that most of them have, but it hasn't been shown in the movie. So really, we should have only had a couple of deaths here.
Yeah, they're really racking up those bodies. But when Leah's looking for her, we get like one of the jump scares where she just finds a creepy ass red Santa, like a red faced Santa in a closet. And I don't know what the like other than a jump scare, I don't know what it was for, but it worked. It was creepy.
I don't know, but Heather takes the baby doll in the newspaper to Mrs. Mack and Kelly. Then Kelly's phone rings. She answers. She thinks it's Kyle, but then they hear the Sugar Plum Fairy music again from this mysterious snow globe. And then they realize that the caller ID has Dana's cell number, and then they actually have heard Dana dying. So like all of that is happening at the same time. So it's kind of a lot.
So Agnes has a little bit of like a pattern here. She kills somebody, she uses their cell phone, she calls the house, says they're my family now, and she kills someone else, she uses their family. So Dana's now dead. She followed the pattern. Good for her. So, and at one point, because they got the call from Dana and they heard her struggling, they all went outside to look for her. Which I'm like, good for not going alone again. But then they see that Eve's car is still there. And Kelly falls. And then now they see claw marks. And they try to get into the crawl space, but Dana's body is blocking it from the inside. So they can't find Dana's body. But when they go to check Eve's car, Eve's head falls out of the car. And now we have seen a dead body. Now we know that the threat is real. Threat level midnight. Am I right?
You're right.
So
at this point, who's all dead? The guard, the Santa.
Oh, I have a list.
Well, I'm smart. Megan is dead. Claire is dead. Dana is dead. Eve is dead. So we're at 6.
Fake Santa.
Yeah, I said that.
Okay. The mother and the father and the stepfather.
Well, I didn't include them. I'm just thinking for the girls. Mm-hmm. The present day. So yes, the mother and the 2 fathers from Billy's past are dead too. So technically in movie time, we're at 9 deaths.
Yeah. Present day in this Christmas it's 6. Total is 9.
Yeah. So
it's a lot of people.
A lot of muck duck.
Between 2 people. Between Billy. Oh my gosh, what's happening?
So would you put this as a serial or a spree?
It's got to be serial because it's over a period of time now. Because it's what started in 1991. Now it's 2006. It's 15 years later.
So now Billy is a serial killer, but Agnes is only a spree killer because it's one night that this is all happening.
Can you be like a serial spree killer?
Can you be a spree serial killer?
I don't know the rules.
Let's ask Randy.
Who's Randy?
From Scream. He makes the rules.
Oh, that's right.
So Kelly, in her 2006 glory, she just goes, he's out here. And me over here hating the pronoun game. Who is he? You don't know. No one has decided that Billy has been doing these killings, but because we know Billy is a part of these killings, we're just supposed to connect these dots. No, thank you, Glenn Morgan. I know you directed 21 Jump Street, but I'm not going to be jumping to no conclusions.
Oh. She said what she said. I shall use the context clues and understand that she meant Billy.
But we don't know that. We don't know that. So Kelly continues playing the pronoun game because she calls 911 to say that a girl is dead and we're positive that she's been murdered. And the cops just say that it's, crazy because of the storm and there was an accident on the main highway, so it's going to be a while. And I'm like, I think murder beats traffic, but it is a movie. And Kelly is giving the address of where they live. And then she's like, it's the second house on the right, which is to pull off of last house on the left.
Yeah.
So, and funny.
Yeah, and after the phone call, which I get it. If the police physically can't get to the house, they can't get to the house because of the wrecks and the snow. But I feel if there is a killer in your house, everybody just camps out in the same room and we don't split up Scooby-Doo style.
Well, you would be correct because what goes next is Mrs. Mack has now decided that it must be Billy. And
she says, she plays the pronoun game and it goes, he's home.
Yeah. But home is a better context clue than he's out here.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Whose home could it be? Billy's. So anyway, Lee doesn't want to leave because she knows in her nuggets that Claire is still there because she hasn't seen Claire. So Claire must be alive, even though everyone's been running around the whole house and screaming and Claire has yet to be seen. Claire must still be there because Heather, Mrs. Mack, and was Melissa going to go or was it just those two?
Just the two.
Okay. Heather and Mrs. Mack, they're trying to leave. They're like, we got to get the hell out of Dodge. But Lee doesn't want to leave because she thinks Claire is there. Kelly thinks that they should all stay together and just prepare themselves. So Kelly is, our smart one for now. Mm-hmm. Melissa goes to check up on Lauren, but she is attacked and beheaded by an ice skate because she went upstairs alone. So she doesn't even make it to Lauren's room. Mrs. Mack and Heather are outside. They're trying to get in her car. And then Mrs. Mack is scrubbing her windshield. And through all the snow and frost, then we see from the inside a splatter of red. And then Mrs. Mack opens her door, sees Heather's dead body. Then she tries to run. And then an icicle gets her. An icicle.
Of all things.
Icicle. Now, it's not to say that icicles aren't deadly and that this hasn't happened before, but I'm like, we got actual murders happening here, and this girl's going to go out on an icicle? I mean, I guess good for her. That's probably less frightening of a way to go.
Honestly, I think it'd be more believable if she fell and hit her head and passed out and got knocked out by the ice because she struggled just even walking to her car.
Yeah, because this whole time the snow and everything hasn't let up. So to your point, Katrina, yes, the weather is bad. It would be hard for the cops to get there. There are accidents, but also just meh.
I did think it was funny how when Heather got in the car, Mrs. Mack tried to hand her the ice scraper, and she goes, "What is that thing?" And then she just gets so mad. She's calls her a Southern princess and cusses her out.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
I get it, valid. But back in the house, Melissa yells for Kelly this is what Rachel had mentioned. She goes upstairs, gets murdered, and yells for Kelly. So she doesn't make it, but she made a good effort.
Yeah, because Lauren is already dead. Lauren was dead asleep. Then she wakes up because she hears like
a struggle.
Yeah, like she hears Melissa being killed. And then there's like something in her bed, and she's got like the woozies from being drunk and waking up. And then she like looks around, and then she doesn't see anything. And then she grabs the unicorn, the glass unicorn, which is a callback from the first movie. That was something that was used there. And then Agnes white chicks Lauren and jumps on her, takes the glass unicorn and shoves it through her eye. So Lauren is dead. Melissa's dead. Melissa has called out for Kelly and Lee. So the only people left at this point are Kelly, Lee, and Kyle.
No. Oh, yeah, Kyle's still there. Because he's stupid.
Kyle is in Megan's room. And he has been like this whole time. So like all the murders and everything, like he just like was mysteriously not there.
Yeah, that's weird.
Which, when Kelly and Lee come upstairs and Kyle emerges, that's when they're like, "It's you! You're the killer!" And he's like, "I'm not the killer." But whatever.
Yeah, and I just thought it was funny. So I think it was Lee who texts, "Where are you?" And you get like the good old T9, like U is 3 or 2, 7 twice, and then question mark is this, yeah. Gotta love that.
I think we talked about that in When a Stranger Calls too, talking about the T9.
Oh yeah, we did.
Do you remember in like when we were kids, people would speak in Pig Latin and that was like their trick?
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, well, there were some girls in my school who used to talk in Pig Latin and that was their trick. So I was gonna say my trick is that I could speak in T9. Like I could be like 777, 88. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I think I could do that.
Yeah. So then they hear Melissa's phone upstairs, and Katrina's note was, "Why do they all have Christmas songs as ringtones?" And I say, because it was free use. They got them cleared for copyright before the movie. Also, we did used to change our ringtones based on like our feels and stuff like that. But then there's me who's had my phone on silent for the past 10 years. So I do have 2 ringtones. My mom is I Want to Dance with Somebody, and then everyone else is Taylor Swift's Haunted. But the only time I ever actually hear those is if my phone is plugged into my car and then it just plays. But then it pisses me off because I've usually had like music or a podcast on and then somebody calling is interrupting what I'm listening to. It's annoying.
I just use the default, whatever it is. I don't care.
Well, I've had that for years.
Well, I'm just saying, like even when people used to like turn up the radio and record like the radio for
I definitely did that.
I did it, but I never was signed. Like it was too much work, and also I broke phones too often.
The first ringtone I was ever allowed to purchase, and it was on my first phone, a Samsung camera flip phone. I had the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song. That's what I had.
Do you remember? I don't know if you had this experience, but the level of panic if you hit the web browser.
I knew that's exactly what you were going to say. Yes.
Oh,
like, but have you ever? My dad's going to be so mad at me.
You're like, oh, no. Oh, God. And then you're just like, like that was adrenaline. That was true adrenaline.
I just cost my family $10,000 by accidentally hitting the internet button.
Yeah, it never loaded. So I was like, oh my God, thank God. But there was true panic.
Yeah. Oh. Well, the second bit of true panic comes next when Kelly calls Melissa's phone again, and then Billy picks up, and then he's like, "Where is Agnes?" And at this point, no one really like knows exactly who Agnes is. And Lee still refuses to leave because until I see my sister, she is alive. And it's like,
she's dead, girl. A lawyer? Like, because like you can't prosecute a murder unless there's a body.
Yeah.
Like,
Kyle's
but
trying to get the girls to leave. He's like, oh, ladies, oh, let's go. But then Kelly has to do her little sad orphan thing. And she's like, well, if I had a sister, I would want her to look for me. I'm like,
my sister would tell me to get out.
truly. And like, you're my sister. I would look for you. Damn it.
You just were like, well, we just ruined our own logic.
I love you too much.
Like, I need to see her body dead.
But the truth of that is neither of us would have ended up in this situation.
No.
So
I believe
even this episode, the shit we have shared, we're still totally fine.
We are final girls through and through.
A Virgo and a Capricorn, what are you gonna do? We sacrifice the Taurus.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're both even in green shirts. We are Earth signs, baby.
Built for lasting.
But not for speaking. Oh, it's whatever. But anyway, Kyle, to Kelly's point of like, if I had a sister, he's like, how would you know? You don't have a sister. And then Lee comes in with, now she does.
Oh.
Because Lee, who has been there for 14 minutes, and when she gave her whole speech, Kelly wasn't even there. Lee and Kelly are sisters now. So.
Sisterhood. That's how it works.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, they're just girls. So I do completely support them, but because there's no way I'm going to say Kyle was right. But
I fully support the next move they make, though, by having Kyle check the attic.
I know, it's so funny.
Like, oh, yes, please, big, strong man, check the attic for us.
You go first. And he's like, are you for real? And I'm like, so.
He's going to sacrifice himself.
Stop. Well, that's exactly what happens, because while Kyle is almost all the way up the ladder to the attic, I almost said the ladder to the adder.
You should have and just kept going.
You would never have let that happen. But when Kyle's almost all the way up there, Agnes pulls him up like the rest of the way, like yeets him. She's a strong woman, like truly white chick shit. And then she eats his eyeballs.
Nom, 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 nom.
And Lee has climbed up next, and then Kelly's in there. So Lee kind of sees like the tail end of it, and Lee falls through the floorboard. And so she's like dangling there. Kelly gets up there, and Agnes lights these candles. So then we can finally see all of the victims.
The decorating.
Sure. And then Agnes says, everyone should be home for Christmas. And then she says that they're her family now. And it's like, are we your family or are you eating us? Pick one.
Yeah. Having a family dinner is not eating your family.
Never gonna look at those little like family dinner deal things the same now. Now that you said that. A family dinner. I can't do it. It's literally Christmas. I love that. Yeah. So Lee's doing
Kelly gets upstairs.
Go for it.
Oh yeah. So Lee is struggling in the floor. Floor/wall. I don't know how you say it, but Kelly knocks over a candle and just finds glass and stabs Agnes, which like good for her. She's the only one that's really gotten a jump on her, really. But karma, because Agnes was stabbed in the fake eye and pulls it out. And I'm like, of course she has a glass eye because fucking Billy ate her eye.
Yeah. And like, even to have had the accuracy to get an A and eye socket, she picked the wrong one. And I was like, no.
She had a 50-50 chance and she didn't make it, but
well, everything is 50-50 chance. Let's just start there.
Yeah. So Kelly says, they're not your family. I'm not your family. And then Agnes says, no, my daddy's here. Cue Yellow Hulk Billy
climbing
the wall, the inside of the walls to come up. I'm tired of men in walls. Okay, get out of
Oh,
the walls.
I think we were going to release this right after The Boy too. That would have been
Yeah.
our series. Gross.
Hashtag men in walls. Stop it.
Hashtag Brahms is hotter than Billy
For sure.
a million times. Oh my God, I am so fucked up.
You're just now realizing that.
It's just coming all to me.
It's
So,
okay. But Kelly calls for Lee to help her, and then, which I kudos to Lee. Oh wait, no. Lee gets out of the wall, and then Kelly falls down the wall with Agnes.
yeah. And then
So that's yeah,
Agnes is trying to pull on Kelly, but there's lights tangled on a little baby carriage and it knocks over um a little Christmas tree. And then as the lights are pulling the Christmas tree, it catches on fire. So then like the fire is coming, like Billy's climbing down one way while Agnes has Kelly the other way. Lee gets into the laundry room and bangs through the drywall, pulls Kelly through right before the flaming Christmas tree knocks both Agnes and Billy down, and then they run out.
But and the house is on fire.
And Lee has grabbed her coat because this is very important. It's cold outside.
It's very cold outside. So it's valid.
Then so
they get to the hospital and they're being treated, or Kelly is being treated for her injuries. And Lee is sitting by her side. We also see the ME who's in like the morgue telling his wife that, oh, he's going to be late because he's got more work, and she's mad. But I'm like, bro, there's been a killing spree. He's busy.
There's been a serial killing.
Yeah, a serial spree killing twice by two people. Wait, if it's a group, like two people doing it together, is it a...
They're still serial killers.
I mean, yeah, true. Anyway, so the ME hears the body bag unzipping, goes to inspect, because who does that? I guess somebody who deals with dead bodies on a daily basis. But Billy pops out, kills the ME, and then Billy lets Agnes out because, of course, she's also still alive. And I just want to know, who declared them dead? Who said these two are dead? They're done for. Done.
Well, yeah, because they came out and they're not like super injured. They're not scarred or burnt. So how did they get from the house? How did the cops who couldn't get to the house when there was a murder somehow that same evening fish Billy and Agnes out of the burning house?
Right, with firefighters to put the fire out.
And then got them to the same hospital.
Found them in the crawl space?
Exactly.
Like, I don't get it. But maybe they crawled somewhere else, but the logic's not logicking in my head.
I don't know. But they're there. Lee is talking to Kelly about having a sister and being upset that she didn't get to know Claire. And then she's like, well, I couldn't open this in front of my sister. Opens Claire's present. And she's like, so, like, I'm going to open it in front of you. Kelly has nothing to do with this present, but they're sisters now. So we just let it happen. Right. And it's a cute little watch, and it's engraved on the back that says family forever. So we assume that Claire and Lee would have had a really good Christmas together and formed a solid relationship. It's unfortunate that never happened. But the nurse comes in to get Kelly for more x-rays and takes her out. Then Lee hears someone in the ceiling. She thinks she sees Kelly somehow. I'm not exactly sure how that happened.
Yeah, I don't know, but
I don't know why she would think it's Kelly.
Well, I think she tried to like check the door, and then maybe she saw somebody blonde outside.
Well, she sees the blonde in the bed, but I guess we just don't know the time. So like I understand that she sees a blonde in the bed, but I don't know why she thinks it's Kelly, because we don't have any idea of the passage of time. Like x-rays do take a hot minute, and
Yeah.
we just don't know.
Like maybe they forgot something or there was like a hiccup. I don't know. It doesn't really, the last part doesn't really make sense to me
So
either. So
either way, it's Agnes.
Agnes kills Lee by snapping her neck and says forever. So she was listening. But then
Now Kelly's back, but we don't know how Kelly got back either. But
yeah, so Kelly's done with her x-rays, but she finds part of the watch in the bed bloody. So she tries to leave and the door is jammed, but then she sees blood pooling up above her in the light fixture, which how did she get Lee up into the ceiling? Jesus Christ.
How did Agnes and Billy do all the other shit that they did?
Like, but I'm like, that stuff is like so soft. You would fall through it with your body weight. Anyway, it's not important.
It happened.
She hits the emergency button, but the goddamn Christmas carolers are singing, so they can't hear nothing. Mm-hmm. But Kelly fucking like charges up the, I don't know what the machine is called, but then goes clear.
The AED.
The defibrillator.
Yeah, the AED. So she's smart enough to get that. She breaks the glass in her door so she can unlock it from the outside. But after Kelly has killed Agnes, we assume shocked, like that she is dead at this point. We don't ever see her again. But then Billy starts like climbing down from the roof thing, which is also interesting because even in the attic at home, they never really like tried to join together and do their kills. It was always one on one. I feel like for Billy and Agnes's perspective, they could have cleared Kelly pretty quick like that. So, whatever. But Kelly's running. An orderly comes out of another room, which I honestly appreciate because I hate the we're running through an empty hospital thing.
Yeah.
So an orderly comes out. Kelly trips over his cart, and I would say weapons galore, tools galore, but like there's scalpels and scissors and knives and blah, blah, blah on the cart. It's probably like a scrub tech who's cleaning all of the instruments. Kelly grabs like a crutch and starts beating Billy with it, but the way she beats him is like
yeah, not a lot of power.
There's not a lot of power in there. And then she just throws the crutch right next to him. Just
at least trip him, something.
Well, he's already on the floor, but then he picks it up and he trips her. So she falls flat on her face. And then they're fighting. And he stabs her with the scalpel, but then she gets out of that. And she's like running down the hallway. And then Billy runs down and they're like over the atrium, like the stairs are there. And we see Billy and Kelly fighting a little bit, but then Kelly somehow maneuvers Billy over the stair rail and he falls down his, I think it's through his back is the way he falls onto the star or whatever the tree topper is in the atrium of the hospital. And it impales him, his guts go flying, but it is a really cool shot where we see Kelly at the top of the stairs and the Christmas lights are blinking different colors like yellow, green, purple, blue, blah, blah, blah. And Billy's dead body shadow kind of moves around in them. So I like that. And then the movie plays the Sugar Plum Fairy music and then we're done.
I don't think they needed to kill Lee, to be honest.
Well, we had to have a final girl, not final girls.
Why not?
Because it was 2006. We didn't do that then. Now it's a new concept.
Whatever.
So that's Black Christmas. I do really like this movie. I know that we kind of like went back and forth, but honestly, that's kind of what it feels like when you're watching a movie because it's just, one of them after the other, after the other, after the other dies.
Yeah, the first time watching this through, it was somewhat like I was just watching it to watch it, and it really wasn't making sense in my head until the second time. I knew Billy's story. I knew the sorority girls' situation, and then I was like, okay, I get it. So, yeah.
So it's a fun movie. This is what I call like a daytime horror movie. Like I can literally just turn this on and like clean my house or do whatever. I still have fun. I think the performances are good, but it's just like whatever.
Yeah, here's one thing is like I feel like they really developed this character villain of Billy, and Agnes did like most of the killing. And I'm like, we really didn't know. We knew the minimum amount we needed to about Agnes, but we knew a whole lot about Billy. I'm like, you could have gave us some more Agnes so that we can see why she's so fucked. I mean, yeah, she's fucked up because of what happened, but maybe some more story on Agnes. But I don't know if we were just supposed to assume there was only one killer for a long time, and then it was like, my daddy is here, and then we realized, oh, it's two of them. Agnes isn't dead, but we knew. I don't know.
Yeah, what did we put? Well, what did you put when you made the list? Like Billy didn't kill any of the girls except Heather, right?
Maybe Eve.
That's true. That's true because
He
she
killed.
presumably was outside when she actually died.
Yeah, so Heather and
If you
that's
died
it.
in a car, it was Billy. If you were anywhere else, it was Agnes. Unless you
Yeah,
were
unless
at
it was an icicle and you're Mrs. Mac.
yeah, she just
So he killed Heather and he killed uh
Eve.
Eve, maybe.
We'll
And that's
decide
all we
that.
know.
Yeah. So
But
I
he killed
mean,
two girls in this whole movie when Agnes is just murking everybody.
I don't know. I guess she didn't want anyone else to get the
Leave
attention.
it leave it to a man to take all the credit but do none of the work.
I agree. So that's Black Christmas. It's fun. There was another Black Christmas movie made in 2019 that has nothing to do with this type of storyline. It is not really well reviewed. I've seen it a couple times and it's fine. It's a Me Too movie. It has like some interesting things, but I don't want to spoil it. Have you seen it?
I don't know if I have or not.
You should watch it because I think it's actually really interesting subject matter and the way
Okay.
it's played out. But I think when you're trying to pull it off as Black Christmas already has its own zeitgeist between the original
Yeah.
and this one that it could have literally been called anything else. It's just a horror movie on a college campus during Christmas time. That's the
Yeah.
only thing
Okay.
that's similar. And technology is involved. There are phone calls made, but like, okay, whatever.
Lots of horror movies have phones now. Like
So
phone calls.
yeah, so that's something. Do you have any parting thoughts or any ideas for what we're going to do for January in the next 2 minutes? It's your birthday month.
January is my birthday month. It's Capricorn season soon, guys. So watch out. Anyway, no, I don't know. We could do like one of my favorites. Like my top two are
Rem
just say what you're saying. Cut it out.
Tremors. I'm trying to.
Yeah, so it's I'm thinking either Tremors or Silent Hill.
Ooh.
Those are my favorites.
Okay. Okay.
I know Silent Hill is available for streaming. I don't think Tremors is available. So we'll see. We'll play it by ear.
Yeah.
No promises though.
But we will have one episode in January. We're going to do it.
And we have to because it's here now. So tell us what your favorite Christmas horror movie is. Send us an email, comment on our Patreon, go to our Spotify, leave a review. Just talk to us, please. We miss you.
Yeah.
And we're here for you.
We got a comment on the last one we did, I think for Friday the 13th, and it wasn't anyone that we knew. And we were just like, are we famous?
And then Spotify Wrapped told us that we had like a top listener. And I was like, who? Like we were somebody's
It
top
wasn't
podcast.
even me. Booze and Boobs was my third top podcast.
Traitor. But thank you for listening, guys. We love you. And we'll see you in January.
I'll see you next year.
Shut up.
Thank you guys for listening. We hope that you enjoyed our episode and we look forward to hearing from you.
Find us on Twitter or Instagram to request a movie or even just to discuss your thoughts at Booze and Boobs, or send us an email, boozeandboobs@gmail.com.
Yeah, and we're working on turning this into a thing. So if you can please follow us on Patreon, our account there is Booze and Boobs also.
And what are some of the benefits to joining our Patreon?
Oh, Katrina, I am so glad that you asked. As a patron, you will get early release episodes, bloopers, mini episodes where we showcase scenes from the movies that we're talking about, or just conversations that we're having that we had to cut from our recording.
All that and more. And they're fun tiers. You can be an A cup, a C cup, or you can join the Triple D plus group like us.
We truly appreciate your support and we look forward to growing our following to create more content for listeners like you.
So we'll see you next time, or else.
Yeah, let's end it with a threat.